You let me know? I'm good. Okay. Are we ready to roll? Good morning, colleagues, members of the media. The name is Loiso Yankis. Mine is not to speak. The board of the Gauteng Enterprise Propeller is here, represented by the chairperson, Mem Pahlele. She will then do the opening and welcome for the event, and also take over for the proceedings of today. We will have a Q&A session at a later stage. So those who are not here physically, our numbers have been shared. We will be able to process the questions for you, and they'll be responded to during the course of the press conference. With that said, I would like to call the board chairperson of the Enterprise Propeller, Mem Pahlele.
Good morning, MEC, Pakstau, to the CEO of the Gauteng Enterprise Propeller, Saki. Virtually, we are also joined by the IDC, David, heads of partnerships, member of the medias that are joining us also virtually, and to you colleagues. Thank you so much for gracing us with your presence on this occasion that we believe that carries good news to the economy of Gauteng. My name is Lebogang Pahlele, as introduced. I'm the board chairperson of the Gauteng Enterprise Propeller. We are all aware of the devastating impact that COVID-19 has had on the country, on our economy, particularly small businesses. As we were still finding solutions then to the COVID-19 impact, we were also confronted by the riots that engulfed parts of our province. Again, the biggest losers were the small businesses, especially those in the township. Often uninsured, and were particularly devastating to the informal sector and wreaked havoc on jobs. Those who work with SMMEs or have owned small businesses know that a small business is often a result of an entrepreneur pouring all their resources, along with blood, sweat, and tears, into creating a sustainable livelihood. Unfortunately, when all that work is destroyed overnight, they don't usually have a backup plan. It is for this reason that we are here today. The MEC will tell us about the department's interventions towards economic recovery. The health of Gauteng economy is not only important to the province or to South Africa, but the entire continent. So we look forward to hearing about this critical intervention from the MEC. With these words, I officially welcome today's announcement. I will call upon the MEC to come make his announcement.
Thank you very much to the chairperson of our board, Lebogang Pahlele. She always complains when I say me. Let me also acknowledge in our midst the CEO of the Gauteng Enterprise Propeller, Mr. Zamkaka, the head of department of the Department of Economic Development, Mr. Blake Mosley Fatula, and all the colleagues in the department that are present this morning, members of the media, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. We as a department were allocated 250 million rand via the Gauteng Enterprise Propeller to gear private sector investments aimed at economic revitalization. To enable this to happen, we structured the fund as a wholesale lending instrument aimed at focusing our efforts on working capital financing. This focused approach will ensure that we support the full diversity of township-based business, targeting the small, micro, and medium enterprises, the informal sector, the taxi economy, the township property sector, and, of course, township retailers. Last month, we presented the Gauteng government's economic rebuilding approach aimed at reigniting the economy. It was just about 6 weeks ago that we witnessed the looting of business and government premises. The 5 days of unrest caused an immense damage to the Gauteng economy. Currently estimated at 3.5 billion rand. It was an unrest in which small enterprises suffered the most, with some losing their entire stock and infrastructure. In Gauteng, more than 18,200 people lost their jobs as a result of the unrest, and with 48% of SMMEs uninsured, it would be difficult for them to return to work and or business soon. Following the recent unrest, the Gauteng Department of Economic Development conducted a survey to get valuable information from affected SMMEs, and this campaign has also reached local radio stations and other platforms. If there is a message for all of us to learn from these recent events, it is that there is always a risk of violence in environments in which there are exceptionally high levels of income inequality. As a responsive government, we cannot afford to allow the small enterprises to collapse. Hence, we have gone to the roundtable discussions and started targeting funds, both internally and through partnerships, that can be better used to reignite the economy. The Gauteng Enterprise Propeller will open funding applications for the Gauteng Rebuilding Fund from today, the 24th of August 2021. The Gauteng Rebuilding Fund is exclusively for Gauteng-based SMMEs that were affected by the COVID-19 pandemic and the looting that took place recently. The Gauteng Rebuilding Fund is the Gauteng provincial government's response to the recent unprecedented challenges faced by small businesses emanating from the riots that took place in July. The 100 million rand fund includes a 50 million rand contribution by the Gauteng Enterprise Propeller and a further 50 million rand from the Industrial Development Corporation. The funding, which will be offered on a 50-50 blend of loan and grant, will help businesses cover rebuilding costs, repairs, replacement of infrastructure, inventory, equipment, and critical supplies. It will also cover increased business security and employee costs for these businesses. This funding will not be open to businesses that have claimed from insurance, the financing of normal expansions, payment for non-operational expenditure, such as bonuses and financing of new enterprise. It is important at this stage to confirm that we will be unveiling very soon funds that complement this fund that will look at, amongst others, the areas that I've said will not be covered by this specific fund. This fund, as I indicated, is intended for the rebuilding exercise, focusing on those enterprises that have been affected. Those who seek to establish new enterprises, expand their current operations, will not be eligible for funding from this tranche of funding that we're making available. I will not go through the detail because that would be published in terms of where people can make their applications, and I'm sure the CEO will also be talking to that. Thank you very much.
It's your program, so you've got to keep telling us what next. We don't want to hijack your program, Loiso, so once in a while you got to remind us. Thanks to the MEC Chair and the HOD, and thanks to the colleagues that are here. I guess the most important part going forward is we now have the announcement that applications can come. The applications can come online. So if you go to our website, there is a button that says apply online. You'll apply, submit the information. You can apply up to $1 million on the 50-50 grant that we have. Half of it will be a loan, half of it will be a grant for those who are affected. You can also go through the ITC for some of those who may already be clients of the ITC, so you can apply through that. We have the criteria on the website, but we can also go to our branches. We have branches in different parts of the province. The easiest is just to go to the website and check which branch is closer to you. We have branches in Ekurhuleni, West Rand, in the city of Joburg and in Tshwane. So we're fairly represented in the key areas. And if you still battle with that, you can call our call center, or you can send us an email on enquiries@gep.co.za. But really for us, it's now going public about these initiatives that we've been doing, where we've got other partners, both state and non-state partners, to put money with us so that we can grow this 250 million that the MEC is responding to. So there are other initiatives that we'll make known, but we wanted this process to be transparent and people to know how they can apply. So the process is now open. We will then be dealing with the applications depending on the volumes, but because this is practically a crisis fund, we want the turnaround times to be shorter than what they've been historically. Thank you.
Thank you, CEO. We will now be taking questions from the floor. There will also be questions coming through WhatsApp.
Looks like you are very clear. There are no questions on WhatsApp, and there are no questions here. Manja, do you have any questions with you?
All right. Thank you. I guess the train is now moving, MEC. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions?
You still want me to say something?
Yeah. I think given that the statement was very clear, there are no questions, and I'm trying to entice the MEC to give closing remarks so that we can conclude This must have been one of the most efficient press conferences ever. Let me see.
I'm not completely sure why Lois wants me to do closing remarks, because I think that the message is quite clear, that we would wish to request those that are affected to submit their applications. We know and appreciate that many of them have been in distress over the past few weeks, searching for opportunities to try and rebuild their enterprises. So we'd really wish to urge our colleagues, both in the formal and informal sector, to apply for this mechanism of relief that we've made available. It is important to emphasize that it is a blended financing model. So 50% of what you receive, if, for example, you apply for relief of, let's say, R1 million, 500,000 will not be paid back. It is only the other 500,000 that there is an obligation to pay back. So that's what we're talking about when we say it's 50-50. It is particularly because we appreciate that many enterprises are either not insured at all or underinsured and would require some form of relief to get their enterprises to reestablish. So through this mechanism, we are able to give you a grant, but you can also access, as part of the fund, the loan component. So we blend it so that we provide relief for the enterprise to be able to recover whilst meeting part of those obligations through a repayment structure that would be entered into the respective enterprises. Thank you very much.
Thank you, MEC. I think just to re-emphasize, one of the questions that came through Facebook is about those that may have taken advantage of other government initiatives. I think this one is quite clear. The Enterprise Propeller is looking at assisting those that have not applied for other government relief initiatives. It's as clear as that. So don't double dip. If you've applied and received money at CFA or through SASRIA, create an opportunity for those who are unable to apply for those formal loans or government assistance, and rather allow those who are yet to receive the benefit to at least apply through the Enterprise Propeller. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. That concludes the press conference for today. If you do have questions or an interest to ask, maybe direct questions to the CEO of the Enterprise Propeller or the HOD or the MEC, post this, you may just indicate after we've concluded this, and then that will be it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.